Our first reading, in fact, the first line from that reading, may feel familiar to us. For darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. It may evoke images from Bourbon Street in New Orleans in the last few days. That was a darkness. A hotel in Las Vegas, that was a darkness. Yemen, Charlottesville, ISIS. These may be words and images that evoke this sense of what's happening in our world, and everything seems very, very dark as we end 2024 and begin 2025. Certainly the actions of King Herod, marked by deception and murder, no doubt evoked a sense of darkness and terror in the hearts of the Jewish people. Maybe in your own life, this drama of darkness and light may also be experienced closer to home for you. For example, whether it's a life-threatening illness, or family tension or discord that doesn't seem to get resolved, difficult relationships at work or in community, a depression you can't seem to get through, or struggles with addiction and recovery attempts. So this drama, this tension between light and darkness, has always been with us. It's part of the human condition. Richard Rohr, the Franciscan teacher of spirituality, tells the story of darkness that occurred to him when he got sick during a time he was giving retreats in India. And he was being cared for by a Hindu nurse. And Rohr was struck by the kind of gentle and respectful care that this Hindu nurse provided for him, leading him to wonder how this person could come to such love, deeply caring for someone that he never knew. And so the experience led him to to ask the person, who is God for you? And the young person responded, "Sir, I believe that whenever one person shows respect to another person, there is God." That response, I think, gives credence to what we heard from Isaiah this morning. Lift up your eyes and look around. Look around for God's light in your world. The young man nursing Richard Rohr was filled with life. He was filled with a reverence and a respect for everything that was around him, even a foreigner. And it was in his respect for Rohr and Rohr's respect for him that they both met God, had an experience of God, were touched by God. This feast of the Epiphany, the manifestation of God's light in our world, in that infant child, shows us that God is manifest, God is evident, God is visible to us if we look around, if we look for the light. God is shown forth whenever people are searching for light and love and truth. God is shown forth whenever people experience God's light and love and truth in the care of a doctor or a nurse or an aide. God's light and love and truth can be experienced in forgiveness, offered to or received from someone that we've been estranged from. God's light and God's truth and God's love can be experienced in a 12-step meeting or in a conversation between a sponsor and a sponsee. can even be experienced, I'd suggest, occasionally in a checkout line at Giant. We heard from Isaiah today. Lift up your eyes and look around. Now, sometimes it's easier for us to focus on the darkness. And it does astound me sometimes when people say, I don't look at the news. Well, that may be some kind of pablum for you. But it's part of reality and part of what Jesus came to do for us, to bring light. I think it is sometimes easier to focus on the darkness because light requires a vulnerability. It requires a tenderness in our hearts, an openness to the fact that God is still alive and wants to embrace us. So often I think we experience that light within the context of a community like St. Rose here, or someone that we might see for spiritual direction, or, as I mentioned earlier, in a 12-step meeting. Can also be experienced, God's light and love and truth can be experienced in a hike in the Catoctons. Or maybe these days, especially on a beach in a warm island someplace. Or it can happen, God can touch us as we accompany a friend or a loved one in their final days by simply being with them and maybe holding their hand. So as we begin a new year, let's challenge ourselves to be wise women and wise men. Let us journey with eyes searching to see the light, to see the truth, see the love that is there, to see the goodness wherever it's found, whatever name it carries, whatever it offers to us. Let this be a year that we, like the Magi, are willing to go on that same kind of stretching, perilous journey in our lives to find the God that is always present to us, freely given to all, and wants to be with us.